So season review time. To be honest with you, I don't know. Did anything crazy happen last season for us to review? I don't know whether it did. Well, you know what? Let's have a look at it and find out. Hello there, how you doing? Welcome to part 7 of Club 3 of the MyCareer save here on Football Manager with Wolverhampton Wanderers. My name is Stu. Thank you for joining me in today's video where we will wrap up the season that was and then we'll have a look at building our team even further towards another season in the Premier League. Minor spoiler there in terms of how the season went. And if you're excited to see what we can do to shape the squad into a more complete package to try and do better than we did this season, couldn't think of the words there, then don't forget to leave a big like on the video for me and do not forget to subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so and you'll keep up to date with the nonsense that you probably noticed comes out of this mouth. Goodness me, Stu. Mouth on a regular basis. I can't even talk because of the nonsense that has just happened. I've literally just gone straight into this video after the end of the last one, so still on a bit of a high. There's a minor spoiler on the screen, but if you don't want everything spoiled, I'd recommend you go back and watch the previous video, just so you're up to date with everything. Cool. So there is a spoiler on the screen. We won the FA Cup. Yeah, and we also were still in the Premier League, as I mentioned before as well. Let's stop spoiling things and just get into the actual review of the season. So, in terms of transfers in, there wasn't a lot of business, but I think the business that we made was definitely the most significant business. So, Matu Siwa was a player who was signed in the summer, and that looks like the only business that they done. I then also brought in Sugawara as a right back. Absolutely fine job, very unspectacular, but covered the position. Right back is necessary for this season. This guy was solid for us at Deportivo in the last save we did before MyCareer. I'm very, very happy with his contributions in the heart of the defensive midfield. Stefan Bajetic, £16 million well spent. Nadson Juan, youngster who came in. There were 2 other youngsters we signed. They went back out on loan. He came to us immediately and we tried to loan him out. It didn't work. He didn't start a game for us, but my word, when he came on the pitch, he did wonderful things for us on quite a number of occasions. But the one we have to talk about is that man right there, Noah Darvic. What a signing he's turned out to be. 18 appearances from when we signed him. 11 goals, 7 assists, a goal contribution a game. £47 million is looking more and more like a bargain, and he was the player of the season. Transfers out, I'm not going to focus on too much because a lot of these weren't us, although we did make some money with Hayden Hackney and Chiquinho leaving. They had to leave because they were awful. Jaden Bogle had gone before we got here, so we can't take any credit for that. They really were the only 2 that are worth looking at. Everyone else, it doesn't really matter. Season results, let's just go straight on to that. Remember, we joined at the end of November. The club were in around 16th place, 17th place. They were very close to the relegation zone. They'd sacked their manager. As the charter manager at the time, I was just having a look at the news and it said that they'd sacked their manager. I then didn't express interest actually. I applied for the job just on the off chance. Didn't expect to get it. I got it. And we've ended 6th. I mean, what a season that is. Our top goal scorer was Mattia Frigan, who started really well for us, then got injured, but just couldn't recover when he got back because I think we changed the system so much. As you can see, the first half of the season was awful. We joined at the Spurs game. That was our first game. And for a first run of games, that is pretty impressive. Yes, we lost the occasional game here and there. Lost against Brentford, lost against Bristol City, lost against Newcastle, lost against Chelsea, draws against Man City and Liverpool, which are very good results, by the way. But then there's a lot of green here as well. And that final run-in at the end of the season, other than the loss against Crystal Palace, we beat United, we beat Arsenal. We managed to scrape by against Everton and Everton and Spurs rather. Crystal Palace was the one we lost. And then that final few games of the season just saw us to a 6th place finish, Europa Conference League, until we won the FA Cup, and that confirmed a Europa League place. Beating, in the final 2 games of the run, semi-final at Wembley, Arsenal, beat them 2-1 after extra time. Manchester United in normal minutes beat them 3-1, convincingly as well. Staggering, absolutely staggering. We pretty much maxed out attendance throughout all competitions. We got to the final as well as the Carabao Cup. That's another one that's just kind of a bit mind-blowing. Losing 3-1 against Manchester City. So we're even Stevens against Manchester clubs. We lost one 3-1 and we won one 3-1. Who knew, right? Moments to remember, all of them, to be honest with you. The biggest win was 4-0 against Brentford. Gill, Aït-Nouri, Darvic and Cook all getting goals in that. That was in April. We then got a match to remember, which was before I got here, was 2-1 against Leicester. I don't really know why that's the match to remember. There's a few other ones I could point to. Goal of the season we can take credit for was apparently Matu Siwa, of all people. And this was in a loss against Brentford as well, which is a bit of a weird one. But let's have a look at it. Again, we can take credit for this. We were here at this point. Let's see what the goal was. I've got a vague memory of it, to be honest with you. And again, it's one of those nothing goals that doesn't really matter in the end. Andre just passes it to Matasiwa on the edge of the box, turns around, and that is a glorious goal. We were good at long-range goals. Darvic scored a couple like that. I'm a little bit disappointed he didn't get a mention because he was a scorer of a few spectacular goals. But hey-ho. It is what it is. In terms of finances, reputation-wise, nothing's changed. I imagine that will change in the off-season. We were up on sponsorship by about 4 million, down by about 6 million on broadcast revenue. A bit surprised by that. And down a tiny bit on corporate and hospitality. But our prize money, through the roof. Over 20 million extra. Glorious. And our matchday commercial and retail was technically up, but it more or less is the same. In terms of shirt sales, Darvic came in and I think he made a massive difference, to be honest with you. He's now the top shirt seller, along with Fragan, Brian Gill, Matthias Fernandez and Andre. Fragan and Brian Gill probably won't be here this season. As much as Brian Gill has impressed me with his end of the season, he's not good enough, so we'll probably move him on. So they will be going, but we'll see if we can get some people to replace them. In terms of our lineup of the season, it's obviously going to take into account what we were using before we got here. So it's gone with the 4-2-3-1 wide, which I think is what the previous manager was using. We then eventually settled on the 4-2-3-1 narrow with the 3 attacking midfielders. So they've gone with Samba in goal, Roberts, Ute, Mapiu and Aït-Nouri. Yep, I'd agree with that. Bajetic and Andre in the middle. It's good to see Bajetic in there. I'd absolutely agree with that. Now this is where before we got here comes in. Chiquinho and Gomez as wingers. We couldn't get anything out of either of them on the wing other than one game with Gomez and that was it. Or 2 maybe. Darvic in the middle though. Absolutely. If we've only got one attacking midfielder, it's going to be him. Bit disappointed to see Fernandez is not there, but then Fragan up front. Again, for the first half of the season, absolutely. I would absolutely double down on that. Accolades. We've won nothing. I'm a bit surprised we didn't win Manager of the Year, but I will accept that because, again, we are a mid-table side. Well, we are now anyway. In terms of club awards, Fans Player of the Season was Matthias Fernandez. I think, to be fair, from when the season started, I'd agree with that, although I'd push Darvic being a contender for that. He's the young player of the season, Noah Darvic, and he's also the signing of the season. Cannot dispute that at all. He's been sensational, and again, I think we're probably going to do well to keep him. Matthew Siwa scored the goal of the season. There's a few contenders for that, but it was a very good goal. Top goal scorer was Fragan with 17. We need a new striker. Desperately need a new striker. Andre with assists, the most of those. Yeah, sure. He's been great. Got no problem with keeping him in the team. Most player of the match awards was Fragan. He must have dug us out of trouble a couple of times over the season, certainly in the early season, I'd imagine. Highest average rating was actually Ute. I failed to see that because Darvic, but maybe Darvic didn't play enough games for that. And most passes per 90 was Dan Hughes, who is classed as a Wonderkid. That was not there before. He is now classed as a Wonderkid. Good on you, Dan. We'll quickly look at the record breakers before going to competition awards because I don't know whether we've got any. Most goals by a player in a match was Fragan. He got a hat-trick at one point. Assists again. He's broken the record for the amount of assists in the season at the club. Remember, that is from the start of the save, not in history. Highest transfer fee paid was Noah Darvic. I think, again, that might be from the start of the save, but that might take into account history as well because that will be recorded in the game. And youngest goal scorer, Addison, won at 19. Again, I don't think that will be the case. I think they will be younger. You've got to take that with a pinch of salt. Competition awards, not a single one. That is why I left it till last. A great season. We started again really well at Charlton, but again, I just had that feeling of it's not going to last because I just looked at how low level the team was and how much we were labouring to the good results we were getting. I just knew it was going to turn. We've come to Wolves, we've finished 6th, we've got in Europe, and we've won a cup. I feel very justified in my actions. In terms of this, we've got players who have been inducted. Who's been inducted? Matthias Fernandez has been inducted. It's a 4-3-3 with a holding midfielder, so it doesn't really fit the players that we typically play with. But there are some players who we have been using. Mapiu, of course, Roberts, like Nuri, Fernandez, Andre. Tavares is on the left wing because, of course, he is. And then we've got players on the bench as well. Samba, Ute, Gil, Fregan. Obviously, we'll need to get some of our boys in and start building everything. Fairweather fans have gone up. Family core and hardcore have gone down ever so slightly. I'd like to see what they were before. I feel like this screen would be better with that information, but it is what it is. Right, so let's just quickly go through the formalities and then we'll work out what we're going to be doing. So, club vision and expectations. Let's see. So, attacking football. They didn't add a lot when they signed us because they were a little bit desperate. Just, put it out there. They wants to play attacking football. I like doing that. Make the most set pieces. I like doing that. Entertaining football. That goes with attacking football. I like doing that. And play counter-attacking football. We have been doing that to a degree, especially in the bigger games. We've had low possession and then we've been absolutely smashing teams. So we have been doing that. So I'm okay with that. Now, they want us to work within the wage budget. I don't like going outside of it anyway, so that's fine. And also growing the club's reputation. We should do that at the beginning of the season when we start, basically, because we're in Europe now. So that should happen. Hopefully, a couple of signings will also help with that. They also want us to only do 3-year contracts for first team, 1 year, so minimum for 3 years, maximum 1 year for over 32, 2 year for 30, 3 year for 28. I mean, that one feels a little bit weird, but we'll try and adhere to it as best as we can. Obviously, they want to grow the club's reputation at the end of the next season. They don't actually care about on the pitch, apparently. But what they want us to do is maintain a top half finish. We're going to do better than that. I'm happy with all of that. We'll just go through to the next page. There isn't a next page, that's fine. Right, end of season team meeting. The club wants us to be top half. Let's try and go with that. Let's say... Let's go with that one. Yeah, they're happy with that. We'll pump the fists. Happy days. I don't really know with Europa League. We're not going to aim to win it. I'm going to say we'll try and get to... We'll do good account. Yeah, we'll go with good account. Let's not push it. We were relegation fodder this season and we've massively... Well, we've not massively overachieved. We've achieved well, I think. We'll go with that. That'll do. We've done well. I think the squad was better than what it was looking like. Kind of similar when we took over with Charlton in the in League One. I think we were doing worse than we should have been, and now we've kind of righted the ship and maybe overachieved. But I think we've got the best out of some of the players. Like Noah Darvic has come in and done really well. We've got the best out of Andre. We've got the best out of like Nuri when he's been in the side as well. Ute, every now and then we've got the best out of him. Bajetic came in and was solid too. I think we did enough to get ourselves in that top half. Maybe we... Oh, door opening, sorry. The ghost is just doing a bit of fun and games. I think we've just done a good enough job with what we've had, and we've done well with other teams who have underperformed. Manchester United, for an example. United are in the Champions League, by the way, despite finishing in 8th. Yeah, it's one of them. I think we've capitalised on other teams not doing as well as they should do. Again, just a reminder, we finished ahead of United, ahead of Spurs, ahead of Villa, ahead of West Ham United as well. We finished ahead of teams, who you would expect us maybe to finish underneath. And I think we've capitalised on their misfortunes. Again, United finishing in 8th, Spurs finishing in 11th. You'd expect them to be higher. They've had poor seasons. We've taken advantage of that. That was a long way to say that. Right. In terms of what the plan is, I've already been working on it in the background. Recruitment focus. Now, some of them have actually finished, so I need to have a look at them. Right back is one of them. Goalkeeper is one of them. Defensive midfielder, backup is one of them. Attacking midfielder is one of them. Striker is one of them. I need to have a look through them and see if we've had any results. Obviously, it can be a bit hit and miss. Money-wise, by the way, that's the budget that we've got to improve the team. In terms of what we are going to do with the squad, there are players who are going to be moving on. Wolfenden's actually already leaving. We already sorted that one out, so he's already out. I'd like to move on Rollheiser. I'd like to move on Tommy Doyle. I'd like to move on Fabio Silva. Sonko I'd probably like to move on as well, although he has been okay for us when we've needed him. Gomez is going whether he likes it or not. Connor Roberts' contract is expiring. Kalajic can go. Adalberio can go as well. Sam Johnson's retiring. I'm happy to let Fregan go. And Sugawara will be leaving anyway. So, where does that leave us? Let me just get this sorted. It needs us leaving quite a lot. So we need 2 right backs minimum because we don't have any. We're going to be losing the one that we had in Roberts and the loan option as well. So we need to get 2 in. We need a central defender more than likely as well. We need another playmaker to come in just to be another backup. And we also do need attacking midfielders and a striker. Striker, we have got 2 youngsters who'll be coming back from their loans, but I still think we're going to need someone because I'll probably loan them out again. I would actually argue we need another defensive midfielder. Matusiwa is fine, but I don't think he's going to be one for the... He's 31. We need to move him on, so we actually probably take him out as well. Sorry, lad. I'm quite content that that's probably all we need to do. I will say, if anyone comes in for Tavares, happy to let him go. I like him. He's done really well for us. But Aït-Nouri has been better. We might as well maybe get someone in younger who we can have as an eventual replacement. Because Aït-Nouri himself is... How old is he? 27. He's no spring chicken. He's in the prime of his career. Let's get someone in who can be a good understudy for him. That feels like the right thing to do. But if not, Tavares will be an adequate backup and can play right back as well. Mipiu is 23. He's got a bit of potential. I'm quite happy to keep him around as well. But another central defender to come in and maybe be a partner to Ute would be good. And then we've got Mipiu and Hughes who can come in and obviously be the youngsters who can come in and grow. We need backup midfield to Bietic and Andre. It is backup that I need. I'm not going to replace Andre as the starter. Neither Bietic. He's been really good. So we'll see who we can get as those. An attacking midfielder. Fernandez will start over on this side. I believe Nadson Juan will be an adequate replacement, an adequate player to come in as well. But Brian Gill we probably do need to move on as well, actually. So, actually, do you know what? We need 3 attacking midfielders. Really. We do. So we need 1 player who can play on one of these. And we need 2 players who can play in the middle. And then we need a striker. We've got a lot of work to do. If the players who we want to get rid of go, how much money are we going to be able to raise? Well, Rollheiser, let's say... Okay, so we're going to undervalue a few of these. So Rollheiser, I thought he's on the transfer list, apparently. But he's not actually on the transfer list for that value. That is the guide value. So let's say it's 20. Let's give it 20 million. 20 million there for him. Okay, Kalasic isn't worth a lot because he's 31. Let's just call that nothing. So it's still 20 million. Darby Oyo, let's say we get 15 for him. So that's 35 million we've got there potentially. Tommy Doyle, let's get rid of him. Let's say 20 again. So that's 55 million that we potentially got there. Wolfenden's already leaving. Matusiwa, let's see whether we can get something for him. Let's call it a couple of million. So let's say let's call it 55 still. Not too worried about that. Brian Gill, let's say we can move him on. Let's say we get 15 for him, 15 to 20. So let's say that is going to be, I don't know, 70 to 75. Fabio Silva, if we can move him on. I mean, I doubt we can, but let's say we get 5 million for him. Then we get, let's say, 75 to 80. Frigan, if we move him on, he's apparently worth a decent amount and he's wanted. So let's say we get 30 for him. Oh, we're over 100 million net, and then we've still got Sonko, who I might still hold on to, but if I don't, then that's another maybe 10 million. So we've got about 100 million pounds worth that we could potentially raise. That's undervaluing everyone, but that's assuming we can get everyone out for a decent amount, because sometimes the offers you're getting are ridiculous. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put everyone who needs to go on the transfer list onto the transfer list. And then we're going to accelerate forward like we normally do. We'll go to the 1st of July. We'll see what free transfers are about. We'll assess what we've managed to do. And then we'll assess what we're going to do going forward. Okay, we are on the 1st of July. And lots of business has been done. But the majority of it has been business out of the club. Now, the first thing I do need to mention is, in terms of transfer money coming in, what I neglected to take into account when I was looking at how much we could make was the fact that the club have imposed that we can only retain 55% of the transfer revenue brought in. So obviously, when we were looking at like 20 million here, 30 million there, that's actually 10 million here, 15 million there. So we do need to bear that in mind. Having said that, that's our current transfer budget, 114 million. And I've already spent some money as well. And we've got a very hefty wage budget as well, which is fantastic. So we'll have a look at the transfers out first, because they are the more extensive of the transfers. And then we'll look at what we've done in terms of in. Some of them will count as last season, which is why they're not on here. So at the moment, transfers out. Tommy Doyle, gone to Brentford, £17 million. There's no fee on here, so I'm assuming Wolves brought him in for a free. I don't know that for a fact, though, but I would class that as profit. Very happy with that. He really wasn't Premier League level anymore. But he's gone to Brentford, who are still in the Premier League, so what do I know? He's worth a lot more, apparently, at this point. I'm kind of happy just to have him and his wages off the books, though, so it is what it is. Kalasic has left. He was leaving at the end of the season anyway. We shifted him on for free. His wages off the books. He's gone to Celtic. Good move all round, I think. Castrovilli was a deal we had nothing to do with. Lamina was a deal we had nothing to do with. Benjamin Rollheiser, the club brought him in for £8.5 million. We sold him for 15. Profit. We could have probably made more on him. He's worth a bit more than that, but we got his wages off. Look at how much he's on at Celta Vigo. That's obscene. But he is off the books now as well. Frigani's also gone for £22.5 million. Look at the wages he's on at Al Nassr. That is obscene. The club did spend, how much was it? £12.5 million. So we made a profit on him. So quite happy with that one as well. Again, started the season really well last season. Well, started when we got here really well, but it just didn't carry on. So he's out the door. He is gone. Angel Gomez has left as well. £30 million. The club brought him in for 40, so we did make a bit of a loss on him. I am bothered. He was trash for us. Look at that. That is awful. Like, okay, he did okay the season before, but he only played 4 games. That says everything. So I'm quite happy to have him out of the way, to be honest with you. Very, very happy indeed. And then the final one on here, Matthew Seawer has actually left as well. 31 years old, defensive midfielder. He's gone to Lecce, and he has left for £6 million, when we only paid 3.5. So we're doing pretty well on these transfers, to be fair. Raised 99 million. Let's just go to the season before and have a quick look as well. Yes, there are a couple more that got confirmed as well. Fabio Silva, out the door. Finally, he's left the club. Wolves paid £35.5 million for him from Porto. I think the general consensus in world football anyway is that they got ripped off. And yeah, that is very much the case. This was a case of just cut our losses and get him out of the door. And out the door he very much now is. We also moved on Sonko. I was on the fence as to whether to keep him or not, but we don't play with wingers. He was an okay striker, but we're just stunting his career growth. I mean, he's gone to Shabab Al Ahly, so whether his career grows anymore is another matter. But he has left, and he went for the tidy sum of £22 million. We spent 14 to get him. Again, profit. We also moved on Brian Gill. This one, I mean, I was torn on this one because in the nicest possible way, he ended the season really strongly. However, they offered us 35 million. Wolves paid 7.75. Profit. Very happy with that. And the kind of the last noticeable one was Adarabioyo. He's actually gone back to Fulham. Fulham actually is where he first kind of properly made his name, I think. Then Chelsea signed him. Then he went to Wolves in this universe. Wolves had him for 105 games. We've now moved him on for £19 million. We spent 4.7. I'm not going to complain about that at all. He did have a very good season last season. In fact, apart from those 2 seasons where he was bang average, he's not had much of a good time anyway, to be honest with you. And they're kind of the main headline sales. Now, in terms of players in, so I know what you're thinking. He was trash when we had him at Charlton, but he is A, a Wonderkid, B, an actual 3-star player now. And I just think we need to capitalise on that. So I have signed him. He had a release clause for £12.5 million. Relegation release clause that we negotiated into his contract. And I'm okay with it. We'll train him as an attacking midfielder. I think he'll be okay. And if he's not, we can cash in on him. Very much we can cash in on him. So I'm quite excited about the idea of either developing him or just selling him. I shouldn't really be excited about trying to sell him, but it is what it is. We also brought in this guy. I don't know how to say his middle name. Arnar for Leifson. I might just call him Arnar, possibly, because I need to work out how to say the middle name, and then once I've got that down, I'll be fine. But Leifson, we'll go with Leifson for now. He's got 21 caps for Iceland. He's come to us from Blackburn. He had a release clause of £14.5 million. He's worth so much more than that. We got really lucky with this guy. He's come in. He's one of our new right backs. I haven't got the other one yet, but he's a new right back. And he's going to be superb for us, I think. I'm really happy with that one. Really, really happy indeed. And he's going to grow. He's only 20. He's already got 21 caps for his international country for Iceland. We've got an Icelandic Wonderkid at the club. I'm delighted with that. That's fantastic. And so far, that is all the transfers in. However, business is still being done. Let me just show you over onto here. Transfers in. We've got 2 centre-backs on the way. We don't necessarily need 2 centre-backs. One of them can play as a defensive midfielder, though. maybe we do something with that. But Peter Owino from Nottingham Forest, we've put a bid in for him. We're the only club who have. However, Liverpool were at one point interested. Now it's Spurs, Bournemouth, Napoli. He's an Ireland international with 13 caps and a goal. Centre-back, 6'2", Wonderkid. He's quick. I'm really excited by the idea of having this guy as part of our back line. Let's try and get him in. We're going to spend a pretty penny on him. Again, the money that we're looking to spend is going to be a total of 33 million. Not all of that is up front. You know how it'll work. But then the other one is another Wonderkid, centre-back, Daniel Cordoba. He's on a free transfer. Now, this guy I think is wanted by a lot of clubs. Yes, he is. Very, very much so. So in terms of offers, we've made an offer. We're the most high-profile club that have made an offer for him. Alaves in Spain have made an offer. A bunch of championship clubs, including Charlton, have as well. And so have OH Leuven in the Jupiter Pro League in Belgium. But also Arsenal are interested in him. I mean, there's a host of clubs, including Barcelona, who are interested in him with like active interest. So he's highly sought after, but we're the only ones who've stumped up and said... No, we're not the only ones, but we're the only ones of the big boys who've gone and said we want to sign him. So we'll get those two in. And then Stefan Bon is a player who I've made an offer for as well on a loan deal from Paris Saint-Germain. He's everything you would want in a defensive midfielder, other than he's not quite that strong, but he is tall and he's got a half decent pass on him, although not particularly good. So he's very much a get the ball, recycle it to someone else. Perfect for a half-back. I'm quite excited to get him. If we don't get him though, Cordoba could potentially fill that void. He can play as a half-back, so I'm not overly upset if I have to put him in there instead. We'll see how that goes, because this could be the more cost-effective way. We're going to get signed both Cordoba and the other guy. We're going to sign both of them. So maybe Bon is not needed. I'll have to think about that one. But we've got enough money. We're not struggling with money. But the whole point of the money is we've then got lots of money to spend on a striker and potentially a goalkeeper. Although, on goalkeepers, hello, Aaron Ramsdale, who is here on a free trial after leaving Southampton quite some time ago, and Al Nassr. So, this is an interesting one. Do we guess... I mean, he's been playing in the European Championships as well this season. So, he's still obviously very highly regarded in the world of football. He's come here on loan. He'd be a good Premier League player. Natural fitness is decent stuff. He's a goalkeeper at 31, so he's in his prime. I feel like it'd be ridiculous not to go for him. Normally what I would do is I'd wait and I'd see how he developed, how he kind of comes out in terms of the scout report. But I might just put an offer in now. Let's just do it. So, he's curious, wants to be a star player. He would be, to be fair. I'm sorry, can you see how much he wants in wages? Oh yes, Aaron, that's very generous. I mean, I'm going to throw an offer in, but I can tell you right now, we ain't getting him. Not if that's what he wants. 525. We could offer that, apparently. I'm not offering you that. I'll offer you that. Payments fee of 105. No. Let's be smart on that one. As good as he would be, and he would be the best goalkeeper we could currently get, I'm not bankrupting the club for it. It's not happening. Okay, well, I was quite excited about that, but I'm now less excited. So yeah, we can spend the money that we've got, long story short, on a goalkeeper and a striker. We can't just do it on the striker anymore, which we do need. However, we have had our loan players come back as well. So we have got a Twester come back, who barely played at Brighton, which I can't believe I didn't get a notification to say your player's not playing. He got a 6.8 average rating, scored once in 8 games, only started 2 of them. I don't know what they were doing with him, I really don't, because he is very much he's a capable Premier League striker, and they were in the Championship, so I don't know what they were doing. And we've also brought back Roticio Jara as well, who again is a striker, stayed at his former club on loan. You can see that was the first half of the season. He actually wasn't doing that well, but then when he joined us, he went back there with a vengeance. But we've brought him back, even though it's halfway through their season, so we've been a bit naughty. I don't know whether that's to use him or to loan him out to a European club. I'm thinking maybe loan him out to a European club, but if someone wants to buy him, I'll be honest with you, I won't say no to it because we'll make some dollar on him. Although again, to be fair, he's 6'2", he's quick. His finishing is not particularly great, but he's decent enough on the ball. Passing is not too bad. Mate, we could probably put him to use. He could do a decent attacking midfield job if we needed him to. So I might not get rid of him completely. Same with Otwesta. He has got a bad injury problem, to be fair. But he's a decent enough striker. We could go with him if we needed to, and I feel like he'd do a decent job for us. But again, if someone wanted to pay that money for him, I wouldn't say no. Barcelona, Real Madrid, you know where I am. So yeah, we've still got work to do, is the long and short of it. We still need a striker. We still need a goalkeeper. We still need an attacking midfielder, at least one, probably two. And then defensive midfield, we definitely need a playmaker. We might be sorted for the half-back position in terms of backup. Centre-back, we're going to be fine with both of those transfers coming in. Right-back, we need one more. Left-back, we're fine unless someone comes in for Tavares. There's still a lot of work to do, but we've got the funds to do it. And now we're in the new season, and now hopefully our reputation maybe has gone up a little bit. Maybe not. Never mind. It has gone up a bit because I got told, but it hasn't gone enough to get the extra half a star. So we've got hopefully enough, especially with European football, to bring some higher quality of player in. We can't bring people like Martinez in, which is a bit of a shame. I'd have loved to have got him as a Villa fan, but he didn't want to come. I'm assuming he wanted Champions League football, which we don't have yet. So it is what it is. But anyway, I'm going to go away. I'm going to do a bit more transfer work, and hopefully we will be able to get this squad to the point where it's going to look like a bit of a Europa League team. That's the hope anyway. Okay, so a lot's happened. A lot has happened. But not quite as much as I thought would, in a weird way. I'll explain what we've done, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Now, you'll see we spent a lot of money. We did raise a fair bit of money as well, though, as you saw before. So I do feel quite justified in the amount of money that we've spent. Plus, the squad kind of needed it. So the last thing I think you guys were aware of, I think, was maybe Leifson, and then we were looking at a few other players. So let me update you on to what we've actually done. So first player we came through the door after the last time I was with you was Peter Owino. He is from Nottingham Forest. He's an Irish international with 13 caps already at the age of 20. He's potentially 5 stars. He's a wonderkid. He could be a superstar for many years to come. He is already classed as a good Premier League player. Cost £33 million. For a wonderkid, I consider that to be a bit of a bargain. And no, we didn't pay it all at once, I don't think. Stefan Bon then came in on loan from Paris Saint-Germain, another wonderkid. There's a bit of a trend in these transfers. He's here on loan. There is a future fee. We're not going to pay it because it's an obscene amount. But he's come in just basically as a backup defensive midfielder, a backup to Bajetic. And he'll do a fine job for us. Again, he's classed as a Premier League player, decent Premier League player. We are paying a bit for him. Bit more than I'd like to, but it's what we needed to do to get the deal over the line. The centre-back I was looking for, Cordoba, he hasn't joined us. He went somewhere else. He would have been the next best option for defensive midfield, so it's a good job we got this one over the line. But he's in, and hopefully he'll do a decent job. However, he is on the Olympic Game international duty at the moment, so we haven't actually been able to use him, which is a bit annoying, but it is what it is. But he's in. This is probably the one I'm the most happy about. Michael Joquist. Michael Joquist. I'm going to have to look that up. Michael, he's in. I tried to get him in January last year. Wanted nothing to do with us because we weren't a Champions League club. We're still not a Champions League club, but I managed to convince him. I did have to promise him star player, but he's actually not on as much as I thought he would be. £105,000 a week. It's still a lot, don't get me wrong, especially with Charlton head still on, but it's still a very good transfer, and he will be our new attacking midfielder. He'll be the one sitting just behind the striker, and so far he's looked pretty good doing it as well in pre-season. So that one I'm very happy about. This is one for the future. Shea Boyd, he's not as good as we thought, but to be honest with you, we paid a pittance for him. £5.5 million. We'll be able to make that back easily enough. That was more or less the reason why I bought him in. I just thought we'll get him and we'll raise some funds on him. He's gone on loan to Luton. We'll see what he can do in what I'm assuming is going to be the Championship. It is the Championship, so we'll see what he can do there. We then get on to a couple of the weirder ones. I started to realise we didn't have many English players, which is a bit of a problem, especially considering we're in Europe this year. So, Jack Hinselwood has come in from Newcastle, and the main reason we signed him is because he's English, but also he's quite flexible. Play across the back line. Okay, he's 5'9", he's probably not going to be a centre-back, but he can play as a defensive midfielder as well if needed. I just thought he's a good squad player to have, and he's going to come in handy. You'll see why in a moment. When we signed Matt O'Reilly, similar kind of thing. I was actually looking at this guy in January, and I didn't pull the trigger on him quite, but he's kind of a similar utility player. Not to the same extent, but he can play anywhere in midfield in the middle. Defensive, centre, attacking. The defensive option, again, is going to be good because it means he can be a playmaker for us if needed as a backup to Andre. He can also do a very good job as the attacking midfielder, probably behind the striker more than anything, but again, got a little bit more flexibility than perhaps we recognise. So although he's 28 years old, he did cost us a pretty penny at 30 million, but I'm quite happy with that just because it gives us a bit more flexibility. Wonderkid shopping. I brought this guy in because he had a very, very low release clause of £6.5 million, which we paid, and we've brought him in. Raul Miranda has come in. He is going to be hopefully a player for the future, but he is also someone who's going to bring value if we need to sell him. For now, though, come back to my former club at Charlton as defensive midfield, and hopefully he'll do wonders for them. Looking at his first game down here, apparently, he's already had a good start, so that's obviously a good sign. And then these two are ones we desperately needed. There is one transfer I've not made, but I will get on to why in a minute. Diogo Dalot is our new starting right back. So although we brought in the other chap, is he Icelandic? The other guy, I've forgotten already who he is. Leifson is indeed Icelandic. I did not misremember that. So although we've already brought him in, he's one for the future. Dalot is one for the here and now. At 30 years old, he's not going to be here for very, very long. But he's come in. He's got loads of Premier League experience at Manchester United. He's also used to crushing disappointment there as well. So hopefully he'll be able to help us avoid that going forward. That was a bit of a shot. I do apologise, Manchester United fans. But I'm very happy with that as a transfer. We had to spend money to get him though. £53 million. Not all of that was up front. There is potentially could go up to 60 plus. But we'll worry about that when we need to. And then our goalkeeper, we've ended up with James Trafford, which is not one I saw coming. But no one wanted to come to us. I tried to get Marco Carnesecchi from Arsenal. I'm very familiar with his work from our Deportivo save before the MyCareer save started. Didn't want to come because we're not a top club. So I ended up going with James Trafford. He's actually a little bit better than I thought he would be. So I'm quite happy with that. He's definitely an upgrade on Samba, who's declining. And then there's one glaring thing, which is that there's no striker. Now, the reason why there's no striker is because I ran out of money. But it's also because, obviously, there's not a lot of money left there. Loads of the wage budget just magically disappeared, and I'm not kidding on this. At one point, I had at one point before I made all the transfers, I had over £100 million and over £1 million in wage budget. The players I've signed have been expensive, but they've not taken up £1.2 million of wage budget. And I looked after probably the Dalot deal, maybe just before the Dalot deal. And all of a sudden, I was in minus numbers, like minus 50,000. I was like, where's that gone? So at some point, I've looked for an email to say that it's been reduced, the wage budget. Not been able to find one. Don't know what happened there. That threw a spanner in the works. It meant that we had to reassess. So, striker-wise this season, Ben Cook's obviously here. He's had a decent pre-season. I was hopeful for Atuesta, but he's actually not performed that well in pre-season. He really hasn't done that well. He's only started 3 games. Only one of them against Club Brugge did he do well in. Admittedly, though, it was against Club Brugge, so that's a bit of a result. But it was quite poor in a few of the other ones. I mean, I played the games against Kidderminster and Huddersfield. And Huddersfield, where did that come from? Sutton Coldfield. That's not even close. I did play those 2 games. He looked very underwhelming. What I then did, however, is I played Patricio Jara, who is kind of the one who I was the least happy about. And he's unambitious as well, so I mean, this is probably not going to go particularly well this season, but he definitely has looked better in pre-season. He's not played much, don't get me wrong, but when he has, he's looked a little bit better. I mean, admittedly, 3 times he played as an attacking midfielder, but he looked great as a striker against Sutton Coldfield. Again, it is Sutton Coldfield. No offence if you're from Sutton Coldfield. But he looked much better there when in the same game, Atuesta looked absolutely awful. So it is what it is. We've obviously got Ben Cook as well, who, again, he's not a Premier League player, nowhere near, but just from how he played last season, he's here. I might loan him out if I feel like I need to, but unless we have a big sale, there's nothing else we can do about striker. However, the rest of the squad, I am more than delighted with, apart from 2 things. Number 1, Stefan Bajetic is out for 2 to 5 weeks, which is why I'm really glad we got Hinselwood in, because Hinselwood is going to be the backup defensive midfielder that we need, because we don't have anyone else. And then let me just have a double check. Oh yeah, and obviously Bond would be the other one, but he's on international duty. But then Mupiu is out, long-term injury, 5 to 8 months. So we've got Ute anyway. We've got Owino. We've got Dan Hughes. And now we've just lost our 4th defender. And then the one we were trying to get in hasn't obviously worked out. So we are a little bit light at centre-back. Now, to be fair, Leifson can play there. It's actually his more natural position technically. But I see him as being more of a fullback personally. But if we need to, we can shift him there. And Dalot can do double duty on either side. We've still got Tavares, although he is on the transfer list. He can do double duty as well. Dan Hughes can also play it right back if needed. So we've got enough flexibility where we can just about get away with it. We also do have Hinselwood, who can also do that. So the squad we've got isn't quite what I was hoping for. The majority of it is great. I mean, if we have a strong... Our strongest 11 is out there. Let me just quickly pop it on. That's what it looks like. It's just, at the moment, it's just Bajetic who's missing. I actually think that 11... I mean, we know that our fullback's good. Dalot, we know, is a decent fullback just from real life. He's a decent Premier League fullback. I know he was great for us last season. And Yusei was really good as well. Had the occasional moment. But Dan Hughes is good as well. And we know Mupiu can do a solid job. Owino looks like a solid addition as well. We know that midfield 2 is fine. We know Andre is great. And we also know that Darvic and Fernandez did the job when needed. Sjöqvist, I'm going to go with. Sjöqvist could be an absolute sensation. And then striker, well, we've got people who can fill the role. Hopefully they can do a decent job. Obviously, we've got McKernan as well, who we signed, who will be a good addition to put into the attacking midfield slot as well. He's still learning now. And we've also got Nansen Juan, who can do it too. I'm quite happy with the personnel we've got. But obviously, without Bajetic, with the injury to him, we are a little bit lighter than I'd like to be. But we're just going to have to deal with it. And I think we can deal with it. I think we've got the personnel to do that. So it is what it is. Anyway, I've waffled on long enough. The reason why I've come back on the 30th of July, you're probably wondering, is because we've got a game today. It's Community Shield, which I completely forgot about. Community Shield against Manchester City. Instead of going towards the first day of the season, what we're going to do is we're actually going to play this. We're going to play this a game on a transfer special, which I don't normally do. And then once we played this game, we will go through off camera to the beginning of the season, and then I will play the first 2 games of the season. So this is what you're going to get for today. It is going to be, in goal, it's going to be making his first appearance, James Trafford. Then we've got Dalot, Ute, Owino and Ait Nouri in defence. 2 new starters there as well. Hinselwood and Andre in the middle, the new starter there. And Darvic, Sjöqvist, I pronounced that completely wrong there. Sjöqvist. I keep putting a V in there. Sjöqvist and Fernandez. They're the attacking threesome. And then Jara is going to be the striker up front. We're going to see whether he can, as ambitious as he is, we're going to see whether he can do a job for us. I am needing to mention 2 things. Thing number 1, Bryce Sammer has an interest in him. I promised him we can go if someone brings an offer of that amount. We shall see what happens. More concerningly though, Andre has had an offer in from Arsenal. I turned it down. I made him sad. I then had to promise him that if someone meets his release clause, he can go. I'm quite happy if someone pays £76 million that he can go, to be fair, because then we can just replace him. But I want nothing less than that. But we've agreed it with him. So hopefully no one else comes in and he kind of forgets about it. But yeah, that's our captain who might be leaving. That is quite sad. Anyway, it's Manchester City. I'm expecting us to get whopped. Let's find out, shall we? Overall, I am happy with my transfer business, especially in the attacking front. I think McKernan is going to be a great addition. I think Sjöqvist is going to be a fantastic addition. And I'm also quietly happy with Matt O'Reilly as a rotation option as well. Although I am disappointed about striker. To be fair, when I was looking for strikers, trying to find one was like pulling teeth. It was very difficult. And again, all of the good ones were either too expensive, even for the budget we've amassed, or they were just ridiculous in terms of not ridiculous really, because why would you want to come to us when you can go to an elite Premier League club or European club, even though we're on our way to being there? But they don't know that, we do. So it was quite difficult anyway, so I think we would have struggled. So it is what it is. We've settled on what we've got. We might as well give some of the kids a chance, and what will be this season. I think we're not going to do any worse than we did last season. I think we'll be absolutely fine, grand things. The one player I was looking to sign was Santiago Jimenez, but to be honest, he wouldn't really have fit what we wanted to do, which is with a deep line forward. It just wouldn't have really worked. He could have done the job, but again, he was 30 years old. I think he was 30. He was like 28, between 28 and 30. He was at the point where we would have had him for a season and still would have had to replace him. Let's go a bit experimental this season. Let's go with the kids and let's just see if one of them can just step up. Jaro in pre-season, the bits I saw of him, he looked decent. So I'm quietly excited to see whether he can cut it at Premier League level as opposed to just pre-season level. We know Ben Cook can on occasion do that as well, but he was more effective as a super sub. By the way, Fernandes has nearly put us up in the lead. And the person who has put us in the lead against the defending champions of the Premier League is Jara. The guy who I signed purely to sell and make a profit, who we've kind of forced ourselves into using this season. Well, do you know what? I'm not too bothered about using him because he's gone and put us in the lead. So I've got a random wire here. I don't know why. It's a bit random. I've been messing around with my computer while I've been doing this over the last couple of days. But it is 1-0 in the 8th minute. We do lead. And Patricio Jara is the guy who puts the ball in the back of the net for us, which just goes to show, give the kids a chance. He's just scored against an elite Premier League defence. Also, shout out to James Trafford playing against his former club here, formerly of Manchester City. It was kind of deemed he was never going to make the grade there as the number one goalkeeper. Well, he's with us. He's going to be playing in Europe this season in the Europa League, and he is on the winning side at the moment. Ball through to Sjoquist, and Sjoquist, I tell you what. I mean, if it's disallowed, it's disallowed. I'm excited to have him this season. He could just... I mean, if Brian Gill could play well in that position and just terrify teams, Sjoquist could absolutely do the same thing. And it was Darvic who got the assist here as well. He waited for the run. You can see he's making that run as the supporting attacking midfielder for the striker. And he could have passed there, but he had confidence in himself and he makes it 2-0. The only problem with him is it suggests he might get homesick, which we will have to potentially deal with, and we'll deal with it when we do. But the thing is, again, we are not at the stage where if we have a superstar, we can rule out selling them. So if it comes to a point where he is homesick, if it comes to a point when any of the players want to leave, I'm going to try and convince them to stay, or I'm going to try and negotiate with them that they can only leave when a certain amount comes in. But I'm not going to stand in their way because ultimately they will bring money into the club. And if they bring money into the club, it's only for our betterment because it will strengthen the club financially. We've just gone 3-0 ahead against the champions, by the way. We've not done much to the squad. I mean, to be fair, we have actually. I mean, there's a new goalkeeper, 2 new defenders, 2 new midfielders, and a striker we didn't have last season. So that's not half the squad. So we have kind of changed most of the squad. But my point is, like, it's not been drastically changed. Like, Dalot's not, he's better, but he's not significantly better. Neither's a Molineaux yet. Hinshelwood is not an upgrade. He is very much a fill-in. Sjoquist is incredible, and Jara is a talent. I am surprised at how good the Wolves squad that I inherited was, to be honest. And I am surprised that we're this far ahead of them, goal-wise. They are ahead in possession, but we're very similar in shots, but we're taking our chances more than they are. That attacking front four might just be the stuff of legend. If Jara can develop as well, that attacking front four could be the stuff of legend. Jara as well can play as an attacking midfielder if we need him to. So he's got flexibility to add to his resume as well. I'm a little bit surprised that we've dominated them this way. I didn't expect us to. I'm a little bit shook by it, to be honest with you, but I'll take it. 3-0 at half time. You've got to imagine that they're going to come out swinging in the second half. We'll tell Molineaux just to calm down. We'll tell Hinshelwood that we're not happy with him, but I mean, I'm not unhappy with him. I will tell Ute as well, actually. Dalot's not had a good performance. I'm going to have a word with him. He will be one to come off. He's playing against, of course, his former rival team, isn't he? So it is what it is. Right. Second half. Let's just carry on as we were. Again, it's a learning experience for us, as I imagine it is for Manchester City for the new season as well. So it is what it is. It's one of those games. It's worth something, but it's not worth too much. Darvic, tell you what, doing some great work there. It's poor from Pedri. Sjoquist, I said his name wrong. Sjoquist just poorly losing possession there, which is a shame. But he scored, so I'll let him off. But now Manchester City have a chance. Ait Nouri intercepts from an injured Rico Lewis. I did look at Rico Lewis at one point as a transfer, but it didn't really fit what we were. Was it Rico Lewis or was it Levi Cole? No, it was Rico Lewis, but it didn't quite fit what we wanted to do, and it would have been too much as well. Fernandes, by the way, looking to get a goal, which he deserved before the Jara goal, and doesn't quite get it there. Jara, by the way, did get an assist as well, which is quite handy. So he is doing the deep line forward job well. That's the thing. I think this system works the way that it does. I was a bit nervous that we might have given away a penalty then. Andre gives it to Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri now needs to get rid. I was a little bit nervous with the system when I first implemented it last season. However, I think the main reason it works is because we've got attacking midfielders who are willing to run, and they're just bombing forward, and the striker is happy to drop back or run with them and be support or an additional, and just forms a wave of players that just are non-stop ready to just punish teams. And that's what they've done. That's what we've done. When we are on our flow, we punish teams. By the way, all of the goals have been made by that attacking front three. Fernandes got an assist, Darvic did as well, Jara did as well, and Jara, Sjoquist and Darvic all scoring, which I'm pretty happy with that. Right, substitute o'clock. Dalot is coming off for Leifson. We'll give Leifson a run out. Hinselwood has not played particularly well. Now, I am actually tempted to bring on Matt O'Reilly. But the problem is he's not actually a defensive-minded midfielder in any way, shape or form. So it doesn't really necessarily work too well unless I move him and Andre around and we change Andre to a... I mean, it doesn't really work on any of them, to be honest. I'll change it to an anchor. That's the only thing I can think to do. It's not really the same position as we normally is, but we'll do that. I'm just thinking for the sake of fitness. We have got 6 substitutions to use, remember, because it is the Community Shield. I'm going to bring on Nansen Juan for Fernandes, and I'm actually going to make another change. I'm going to bring on Lewis McKernan and get some minutes under him, and Ben Cook will come on as well. But we have got 2 changes left. Let's do that for now. The next change will probably be Ben Cook more than likely. I would take Ute off as well. They'll probably be the 2 changes. It'll probably be Ben Cook and Ute. Ben Cook will come on. Hughes will come on. Ute and Jara will come off. We'll just rest Jara, and we'll rest Ute as well. He might just need a bit of a break from a busy pre-season. We are getting towards the end of the game here. I mean, they've been matching us on shots. Just they've not been able to get the ball in the back of our net up until this point. I imagine they'll probably score before the end of the game because they're that good. But we've just kind of massacred them. It's almost like we're smothering their chances and just not letting them have any good chances. It's like every chance they have must not be one that's particularly easy for them to get. Right, McKernan, what can he do? Goes for a shot, puts it just wide. I don't blame him for having a shot when we're 3-0 up. I really don't. Right, final 2 changes. We're going to make those 2 that we mentioned. It's going to be Ben Cook. I'm sorry, Atuesta hasn't impressed me. He might go this summer as quickly as that. And Ute can come off for Dan Hughes. Dan Hughes is fast becoming a favourite, especially now he's a Wonderkid as well. Welsh wizard at centre-back. He comes on, and we'll just see the game out from this point. O'Reilly's done a half-decent job in there as well. Leifson hasn't done particularly well, but neither did Dalot, to be fair, so I'm not too bothered about that. We've just upset the apple cart in this game a little bit. I mean, it's Community Shield, to take it with a pinch of salt. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to indicate that we're going to take the Premier League by storm. Oh my God, Owino's gone and made it 4. Matt O'Reilly with his first assist for the club as well in competitive action. And we lead by 4-0 against Manchester City, the champions. Well, I don't think anyone would have had this on their bingo card today, if I'm honest. But hey-ho, it is what it is. I will happily take it. And we'll see the game out, and we have a trophy to lift. Our second trophy as Wolves manager. This one, I like to think of it as the most important trophy in world football, personally. Others will say it doesn't necessarily matter. It's a bit of a glorified friendly with a plate that you lift up at the end of it. Make your own assumptions on what you believe. But I'll take anything, and it is officially our second piece of silverware. Second piece of big boy silverware as well. And there we go. Andre lifts it up. Community Shield is ours. We're enjoying Wembley, aren't we? We are enjoying Wembley quite a bit. We've had playoff success at Wembley, remember, as well. So this is our 3rd victory at Wembley. We've won something else at Wembley, I'm sure, as well, when we were at Spennymoor. And I'm sure at Charlton we won the FA Vase and the FA Trophy at Spennymoor and Charlton. I can't remember which is which, but at least one of those was at Wembley as well. So getting a bit of a taste for it, aren't we? We are, just a little bit, but that's the second time we've done it with Wolves. Sjoquist, I keep putting a V in now, I don't know why. Sjöquist had a really, really good game. Obviously did lose possession at one point, but I'll let him off with that. Owino and Aitnuri, good games. Trafford did very, very well. O'Reilly did well coming on. Andre was solid. Darvic was great. Jara was great. Fernandez was great. I'm really impressed with a number of the new boys. Not all of them, but a number of them did very, very well. And that is a good performance. I mean, the lads obviously don't value that very highly. They see it as a pre-season friendly as well, just a big one. Well, I'm delighted. I'm tickle pink, judged by the jumper, at that performance. That is exactly what we needed. Now, we just need to get ourselves to the beginning of the season, which is against Brentford. So in the next video, you will see us play Brentford and Tottenham Hotspur. Last season in the Premier League, where did they finish? Brentford finished 16th, Spurs finished 11th. So you would normally expect us to win both of those games. However, it is early season. Anything can happen. So we'll see what happens. By the way, that's our pre-season. Like, we were just wrecking teams. Did well against Celtic. Club Brugge did well against Copenhagen. We did well against as well. And they were kind of the three challenging games that we threw in there. And then we battered a few other teams as well, which was quite fun. But they're going to be the first two games of the season. Man City have an early chance at revenge as well. So what we'll do is we'll come back for those two. And we'll see how we start the season. But, I mean, if that's anything to go by, Jara could very well be the answer to the striker problem. It's just that determination worries me. So what we'll probably try and do, if it's not already set up, I might have another look at this and just try and get some mentoring set up, and we'll just see whether we can affect something. It might not work because it is based on partially on his determination, but we'll see whether we can knock some sense into him. Transfer wise, I think we're done, unless we can get any very, very, very low level loans in, like low financial level loans that aren't going to cost us much. I think we're pretty much done. The only thing that could happen is we could lose Tavares because he is on the transfer list. I'm happy to lose him and pay for a younger left back to come in and fill that gap. I'm also quite happy if someone wants to pay £76 million for Andre. I don't want to lose him, but if they do, we'll get someone else in because there are plenty of deep line playmakers who we can spend some money on. And yeah, that might be the only action. Maybe Samba as well, but even then, that's not a massive one. Right. I'm going to go away. I'm going to get ourselves ready for the opening game of the season against Brentford. And fingers crossed we can get on with as good a start as we've just had in the Community Shield. That's the hope. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, do not forget to leave a like on there for me. And don't forget to subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so. And you'll put a big smile on this face right here. I've been Stu. You guys have been awesome. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers.